again, 3-2 to Brighton. At least we scored 2 goals. But I'm actually quite happy with the performance. I don't think we were bad. And like, look, obviously, we'll speak about Nelson Semedo in a minute. But I think that was actually one of the better performances of the season, which is hilarious and probably shows where we are. But I'm proud of the boys. I'm proud of all of them. Well, apart from Nelson Semedo, obviously. But I thought they all played well. Like, I think there was more positives to take out that game than negatives. And look, obviously, the situation at Wolves right now is a mess. Obviously, Julian Lopetegui is going to help that. But I think that performance makes me more confident that we'll stay up. I mean, I already felt that anyway. Um, but look, we're not cut adrift. Obviously, there's still some games to go on. But worst case scenario, even if Leicester win and Southampton and whatever, odds are we'll be like worst case scenario, maybe 4 points off the drop. Lopetegui is a good enough manager. We'll probably buy some players in January, and this squad is good enough. And I think if Nelson Semedo doesn't do what Nelson Semedo does, I think we win that game, or at the very worst draw it against a very good Brighton side. So I think there are positives to take out that game. It's just irritating because that should have been a draw, and Nelson Semedo's ruined it. But there's been a lot of stuff on Twitter, people saying like the players don't care, they want to leave. They've phoned it in. I think that performance shows these group of players haven't phoned it in. I think they do genuinely care about the club, and I thought we played well for the majority of the game. Even like Guedes, who, you get people like Nathan Judah scapegoat and act like, Wolves could sell Ruben Neves for £5 million to fucking Bolton in January, and it'd be Guedes' fault in the eyes of Nathan Judah. You know what I mean? Like, even players like Guedes, who apparently it's all their fault and they don't care, he had a really good game. Daniel Pedente, who never presses in his life, pressed well. Like Boubacar Traore was really good. Like, there were loads of positives to take out of that game, but I don't know what the hell Nelson Semedo was doing, man. Like, I mean, I bigged him up on Twitter a few days ago, so I knew he was going to do something stupid. But look, I still stand by the fact, by the way, Nelson Semedo's a fine player. He's all right. He's a top 10 level Premier League fullback. Is he good enough for a top 6 club? No. Would I be asked if Wolves sold him for like 20 million? No, not really. He's fine. Like, Nelson Semedo is still the best fullback at the club. Even when Johnny came on, Johnny was terrible as well. So like, by the way, shout out Hugo Bueno, man. Like, I know it's only 4 games, and someone was trying to tell me on Twitter he's the best fullback at the club. He's not. He's a child that I wouldn't even have known if I walked past Hugo Bueno in the street a month ago. I wouldn't have known who he was. So let's not pretend that Hugo Bueno is like amazing or anything. Let's just let him develop. But he was so good, man. Like, he just did the basics right, and Wolves probably be a lot higher in the table if a lot of players did that. But there were loads of positives in that game. Guedes was really good. He was direct. He was actually running at people. It was the first game where I looked at Guedes and was like, oh, you're not as slow as I thought you were. So when we signed him, I just thought Guedes was quick. But in the first few games, I was like, Jesus, is this guy like put on weight or something? Hwang didn't have a great game, but I think Hwang up front, I think it works in a 4-2-3-1, kind of like it leads away at the first game of the season. I don't think you can really do it in a 4-3-3, but considering it's just a stopgap, I thought Hwang did fine. Pedence had probably one of his better games. People try and scapegoat Daniel Pedence. I find it bizarre. He's been the best player at the club in an attacking sense. Again, just like Semedo, doesn't mean he's incredible or anything, but he's been a useful contributor. I thought he had a really good game. Obviously, and he's unlucky he got taken off. I understand why Steve Davis did it, by the way. You have to take off the shortest guy when you go down to 10 men, but it is what it is. I thought Boubacar Traore's best game. Drove past people really well. Actually played some quite incisive passes in the limited minutes we've seen of Boubacar Traore. Obviously, I didn't watch all the Palace game. That was his first start, I think, if memory serves. But the issue of him is he just looks so immature on the ball. I thought he looked better than Coutinho on the ball for a lot of the game, and it was nice to see Boubacar Traore have like his best 490. He feels like he's catching up with the pace of the league a bit. It feels like he doesn't really seem as nervous. He's trying to play forward passes. Another positive Boubacar Traore, and Ruben was really good as well. Collins and Kilman I thought were pretty good for the majority of the game, and Semedo's just ruined it. And look, I still stand by the fact people scapegoat Semedo for no reason, but like, this is one of those games where it's not scapegoating Semedo. If you want to go on Twitter and slag off Nelson Semedo today, that's not you scapegoating Semedo. He deserves it. Like, Wolves would have got a point, or at very worst won this game, or sorry, at best won this game if it wasn't for Nelson Semedo. He ruined it. And look, sometimes players do stupid stuff, and I can kind of understand what they were trying to do, or you can understand their logic. I have no idea what Nelson Semedo was doing. And like, I saw what's the athletic guy that covers Wolves trying to say it wasn't a red card. I was like, are you dumb? Like, it's a blatant red card. I get Semedo was like out here, and like when Matoma's coming in, like, he's kind of an angle where Jose Sa, you'd assume, would probably be able to save it, but that doesn't mean it's not a clear opportunity to score a goal. It's the most blatant red card I've ever seen in my life. I don't know what the hell he was doing, and it's so irritating, man. Like, if we win that game, what are we on? We're on 13 points. Then all of a sudden the momentum's there ahead of that Arsenal game, and everyone can kind of just have a party for Lopetegui. Now that Arsenal game, just I don't really care. I don't really feel like there's any pressure on that Arsenal game. For me, like, I'm happy with the Lopetegui appointment. I think we'll be fine. But for a lot of people, there is pressure on that game, and now it's just even more. And now Semedo's suspended for 3 games as well, right? And it's not like we're already having issues with depth, and now we've lost a key player for 3 games. He's an idiot. I don't know what the hell he was doing, man. Like, like when Collins got sent off against Man City, I didn't really slag him off because he's 21, he's a kid, and it's Man City. Nelson Semedo should look at that situation and go, it's Matoma on his weaker foot, so wide out the pitch. It's hot. It's about to be half time or whatever the fuck it was. What was it, like the 47th minute or something? It's like, you don't need to do it. You're not like, if it was Haaland and it was the centre of the pitch, I can maybe understand his logic. It's a guy that I've only seen play like twice. I didn't even know who Matoma was until this season. I thought he had a really good game, by the way. I'm not slagging him off. And to be fair, the one thing I will defend Semedo on is I don't think the goal was his fault. Like, I saw people blaming that on Semedo. Like, I've played right back quite a lot, and I'm the same height as Nelson Semedo. Sometimes when the ball gets put over your head, and there's a guy who's just a bit taller than you and got the jump on you, there's not really a lot you can do apart from like try and put them off. So I wouldn't really blame Semedo for that goal, but he's cost us the game, and it kind of just puts a bit of a damper on the Lopetegui stuff that kind of happened before, and Guedes' performance, and Bubakar Traore's performance, and Hugo Bueno's performance. He's just ruined it for him. And like, even with Diego Costa last week, Diego Costa was a moron, and he shouldn't have got sent off. Same with Collins, but at least that Diego Costa red card cost us nothing. Like, I don't think the result of this game would have changed if we had Diego Costa. He hasn't really cost us anything. Semedo's cost us like a really valuable point or 3 points there. And look, I think we'll stay up anyway. I know I get the table looks horrible, but I think when you get a manager of Lopetegui's caliber, and I assume we will back him in the summer, I think that basically confirms you'll stay up. Just my opinion. You can disagree if you want to. I understand why people think we will get relegated, but I genuinely don't think we will. But if we do get relegated, it's by a couple of points. Semedo could genuinely have cost us that. And momentum is an important thing in football. And if we won this game and you go into that Arsenal game, who knows what happens? Now all of a sudden it's just negative again, and Semedo's ruined it. And it's just, look, you can scapegoat him for this game. My issue with people with Semedo is we'll lose a game and everyone will just blame it on Semedo even though he's done nothing really wrong. This game is Semedo's fault. Like, it is. Like, it's no one else's fault. Collins and Kilman were fine. Jose Sarr didn't make an error. Bueno was fine. The midfielders were fine. I thought Moutinho was a bit crap, but Moutinho didn't cost us the game. All our attackers had okay games. Semedo's cost us that game. It's just really frustrating. But at least the Lopetegui thing happened. The Lopetegui thing, I think it probably did help the players as well, knowing Julen was in. And to be fair, we started the game terribly. I thought we were going to lose 4-5-0 again like we did last season. But the players showed heart, and I think there's enough. I think the heart that the players showed today, plus Julen Lopetegui being hired, plus the quality in this squad, plus the World Cup break, plus the January window, I think there's enough in there to like keep us up above Forest, Bournemouth, and Southampton. Do you get what I mean? So, wait, did Leeds win? Fuck off! Did Leeds actually win? Oh my god, they actually beat Bournemouth. At least Brentford, they actually beat Bournemouth. Mad. But anyway, I think there's enough there to keep us up with Lopetegui with the heart. It's just really irritating. Semedo's fucked it. But yeah, it is what it is. And you can banter me on Twitter if you want to. I was getting so much stick on Twitter because I defended Semedo. It is what it is. I still stand by the fact he's best fullback at the club, but he's ruined it, and he deserves criticism now. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel, like the video. Peace.